Hello, wonderful people of the internet. Today I have got a new type of video for you, and that is a shopping video. So today I went into Chelmsford with my dad because I realised I had some money in my wallet that I completely forgot was there. And we went into Waterstones, which is my absolute favourite bookshop that I've ever been to, sort of my favourite brand. Okay, so I filmed what I looked at in the shop and what I picked up, and I hope you enjoy. Okay, so in we go. I'm making my way to the horror section so that I can look at the Stephen King books. So here I am. Now, I really like Waterstones because it's got this vibe about it. You know, you're in a bookshop with people who also love books, and the smell of the pages is just beautiful. So I've just picked up The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. It's the quintessential haunted house story, you know. It's a bit of an old sci-fi horror story, but I didn't pick it up because it sounded a bit like Frankenstein, and after my experience with that, I just didn't want to risk wasting money on it. Okay, so now I'm just looking at the Stephen King books, and I'm going to pick up Different Seasons, which is his short story collection, and it contains Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption, which is one of my favourite books of all time. It also contains The Body, which is the inspiration for the movie Stand By Me, The Breathing Method, and At Pupil, but I didn't pick it up because I've heard that At Pupil is just a bit of a weird story, and I didn't want to risk disturbing myself, so I put it back. Next I pick up Night Shift, which is Stephen King's first short story collection, and it is, you know, just cheap spooks and short snippets of horror, which, since it's October, I will definitely put on my to be read. Hopefully I'll get to it by the end of the month. Okay, so I was just checking the price there. Just looking at the rest of the Stephen King books. I've never seen June McKee, so I was about to pick it up, but I decided against it because I thought it was a sci-fi, but then it said suspense, and I thought no. Okay, so now I pick up the Player's Handbook, which is for a role-playing game called D&D, or Dungeons & Dragons. If you don't know what that is, I highly recommend you search it up. I've been trying to get into it recently, but I haven't been able to. But I looked at the price, £42 was way above my budget, so I had to put it back. I also checked the Dungeon Master's Guide, but to see whether it was the same price, and it was, so I had to put that back as well. Okay, so now we're on the science fiction and fantasy section. I was immediately drawn to The Lord of the Rings, and I found this little book called The Adventures of Tom Bombadil. Tom Bombadil is a really mysterious character from the first Lord of the Rings book, and I thought this would be sort of like an adventure book, but it was more a collection of short stories and poetry, which wasn't really what I was looking for, so I decided to put that back. I'm sorry if you can hear noises in the background, my brother's going to bed, so it might be a bit noisy. Next I picked up the Children of Huron, which is sort of like an add-on Lord of the Rings book. It takes place before the main story, and tells the story of these two. I didn't get to read much of the back, but it's about a Dark Lord who tries to kill these two children. Okay, I also picked up this book, but I don't know what its name was. I'm looking at the video now, but I didn't get a good enough shot of it. And I thought it was going to be something like Children of Huron, but it wasn't, so I decided to put it back. Okay, so now we're in the new hardback releases section, and I found this D&D starter set, which is on my Christmas list, and I know it's too early to be thinking about Christmas, but because of all the trouble with lorry deliveries in the UK, I thought it'd be best to start compiling it early. But it was above what I thought my budget was at the time. It turned out I had a bit more money than I thought I had in the end, but I put this back at the time because I didn't think I could afford it, and I still didn't buy it. Now I'm looking at the Lord of the Rings section here, and none of them were really anything I hadn't seen before. They were just really nice copies of them. Some very nice looking books there. Okay, so I take a look at the Discworld books as well, but I already own most of those, and I didn't want to buy another edition for them, no matter how nice it looks. Now I go to the manga section, and I was looking for a series in particular called Death Note, but the shop didn't have it, which was a bit disappointing. So I spent quite a lot of time here looking for it, checking the most unlikely spaces just in case it's been put in the wrong place, but I didn't find it. Sorry about that in the background. Okay, so now I'm still looking, but nothing. But I really like manga, and I still like to look at them, and that's why I spent so much time here. I realised it wasn't there, but I thought I'd still take a look at everything they had. But then I found the Agatha Christie section, and if you've been watching my most recent videos, I've been reading quite a lot of her lately, and I really like her books. So this is a compendium of all the Miss Marple stories. Miss Marple is an old lady detective who I haven't read much about, so I considered it, but it was very expensive, and I decided against buying that. I also looked at They Do It With Mirrors, which is a Miss Marple story, an individual one, about a sort of optical illusion murder, and that sounded quite interesting. Okay, so I ended up walking out with 3 books, 2 of which you saw in the video. So let me show you. Book number 1 is They Do It With Mirrors by Agatha Christie. I don't know when I'm going to read this, but I really look forward to when I do. Number 2 is Night Shift by Stephen King. Now, I intend to read this month, maybe early next month, but I am really looking forward to this. Love Stephen King, want a bit of horror. I'm ecstatic. The final book I got from Waterstones is The Massacre of Mankind, which is the sequel to The War of the Worlds, which is my favourite science fiction book. I didn't know this existed until today, so I'm really excited to read this as well. Okay, so that's the video. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good one, y'all. Bye.